Welcome back to the Scotty Davenport Show. And, Coach, we have a special guest from Norton CoSair, Dr. Jennifer Bray, a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. Welcome, Dr. Bray.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you have some questions. You have a lot of injured players.
No. We have a team rule, though. No injuries.
That's a good rule.
But I'm a little bit irate right now, if you want to George Suggs with a boot. Growing up, we had a 2.5-year-old. Doug broke his femur. How do you do it? Because you can't say, okay, 7 weeks this is coming off. So is that the biggest issue?
It is. And the treatment for kids under about 4 years old is that full body cast. And it is really tough for the parents. The kids, once you get them in the cast, their femur feels 100% better. They hardly hurt at all from the cast. But the parents are miserable. The kid can't take a bath. They smell. They itch.
I'm having flashbacks.
Doug was in the full body cast?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have pictures?
Yes. Yes. Beth White, our neighbor, does childhood portraits for a living. Laid him in a lounge chair in the middle of the driveway, and the Ninja Turtles were the craze, and she paints his full body cast. Instead of being Donatello, he was Dougatello, and she painted the entire cast into the turtle shell. No, I mean, and tell us your background, because I love hearing this, that you're one of our own.
I am. I'm born and raised in Louisville, born at Baptist East, actually. Went to Eastern High School, went to U of L, swam 4 years for Rick Hill, varsity swimming, and then I went to U of L for medical school, and then I did all my orthopedic training in Philadelphia, Memphis, and Chicago.
Milt Wagner, as he told us back in 1986, Drexel's one of those academic schools. Did you do your residency?
I did my residency at Drexel, yes.
You did know that. No, and she shared with me 1996, so she was a student at Eastern, and I recognized her voice. From those Ballard Eastern games,
little intense.
Those things that I was being called, and she confessed. Just
that was
full
me.
disclosure,
That was me.
it was Dr. Bray. She did not call me coach either. I am calling her doctor.
Well, doctor, now when did you decide did you always know that you wanted to be a doctor, and then how do you pick the specialty of pediatric orthopedics?
About halfway through medical school, you start doing your rotations. And so I had rotated through surgery and pediatrics, and I liked pediatrics, and I liked surgery. And then I finally did my orthopedic rotations. And being an athlete, I played every sport growing up. I was like, this is the job for me. Orthopedics is one of the few fields in medicine where you can really win. I can take a femur fracture, and I can fix it.
Wow. So what age range would cover pediatric orthopedics?
I see birth to 18.
Oh, wow.
My youngest patients are a few days old, and my oldest patients that I have previously done surgery on, I'll see till 21.
So when everybody was going just absolute rage and Kevin Ware was being whisked out, were you completely saying this is okay?
Yeah. I was glued to the screen. Everybody was turning away. I was like, no, let me see. Let me see.
I was at the game, and I was ducking. No. But
my husband was there.
Full confidence that.
Yes. Open tibia fractures are very, very tricky. They will heal, but there's a lot of mental component to that. When your bone is sticking out of your skin, that's a lot for you to deal with mentally. The bone is going to heal. The soft tissues are going to heal, but those scars really remain.
It's ironic. I was at the game, and my thought process was, we're trying to calm people down. Stephanie Debo, the receptionist, was around something. Everybody's crying. And I'm like, maybe this is a great thing. It happened in Indianapolis because of their health care there centers around the Indianapolis 500, and they have very catastrophic leg injuries and feet injuries, correct?
Correct.
So I know they took them on to Indianapolis, the same
Correct.
hospital the 500 uses.
Correct.
And, well, good.
What are some of the more common, though, for kids, maybe basketball injuries? This time of year when you have kids come in, what would make them go to a pediatric orthopedic surgeon at this point?
It depends a lot on the referral base. So a lot of kids that are under 14, so your grade school basketball players, will come to me because most adult orthopedic surgeons can't operate on kids under 14 because of anesthesia requirements. So if they're under 14, they come to me. I do see a lot of knee injuries. I've treated 5 or 6 ACL ruptures so far this year. My youngest patient is 12. My oldest is 17.
Wow. Now, what's different about, say, an ACL tear in a kid as opposed to an adult? Or is there still growing and different factors
So
like
you
that?
have to be careful with that growth plate. Some surgeons, the old thinking was wait until you're done growing to repair an ACL. And the thinking is really changing to, you know what, go ahead and fix it. Be careful. Avoid the growth plates or use techniques that spare that growth plate if you can. But it's more dangerous to wait on repairing an ACL than to just go ahead and do it. You can cause a lot more damage by leaving an ACL out.
And I would venture to say the emotional paychecks of what you do are every bit as equal as the real ones.
It is great.
Yeah, I mean, that's coaching.
Yeah.
That's coaching. I'm sure that they are incredible.
Yeah. I love going to work every day. I love making kids happier.
That's ironic because we just push to our players all the time. You get to come here every day. You don't, not that you have to.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Dr. Jennifer Bray from Norton.
Good for you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Scotty Davenport Show.
Promised her we wasn't going to hurt her.
We'll be right back. We're going to be talking primal sports mud when we come back on the Scotty Davenport Show.
The Scotty Davenport Show is brought to you by Norton Sports Health.